The Wheel of Time Season 2 finale has many fans asking the same question. Does the Wheel of Time show have a major Rand problem?
I don't know. You tell me.
The Wheel of Time Season 2 has been an undeniable step up in quality from Season 1 of the Prime Video adaptation of Robert Jordan's beloved fantasy novels. But after a divisive final episode of Season 2, a lot of book fans, and even those that simply watch the show and have never even read the novels, are having some major issues with the way the show has presented Rand al'Thor, the Dragon Reborn. So what has been so problematic about Rand's portrayal, and how could it potentially derail the show's chances of getting beyond Season 3? Why not hit those like and subscribe buttons and stick around to find out as we break down why both fans of the books and those that have never read Robert Jordan's novels are having major issues with the show's most pivotal character. And before we start, just a quick heads up that this is in no way a complaint about the other characters in the series, specifically the women. The Wheel of Time novels are filled with powerful, incredibly important female characters that drive the story. And to tell that story, you must portray those strong, incredibly competent women on screen to do the Wheel of Time any justice. This is specifically about the serious issues created by this portrayal of Rand in the show, so let's dive right into talking about Rand.
Check this out.
Rand is a character that the Wheel of Time is fundamentally built around, not necessarily in the sense that he's the best or most prevalent character. In fact, he barely even has chapters in some of the books, but his position, power, and decisions as the Dragon Reborn literally drive the entire narrative of every other major character in the book. He is the catalyst for every story event that happens in one way or another, so getting that aspect of his character right is incredibly important for the plot of this series to even make sense. So first off, let's address the concerns of the Wheel of Time book fans. After having his huge moment taken away from him in the Season 1 finale, where instead of Rand using the Eye of the World to destroy the army of Trollocs after defeating Ishamael, a display of his massive latent talent as a Dragon Reborn, the show completely invents a magical, wildly overpowered suit of armor that gives that moment to a narratively irrelevant character instead of Rand. In Season 2, this trend of losing his big moments to other characters continues. In the novels, he stands tall against the Amyrlin Seat for most of their encounter, defying her and saying he will not be used before leaving of his own accord. But in the show, he gets shielded, one of half a dozen times this happens to him that did not happen in the novels, very casually by Siuan and imprisoned, and is forced to rely on Lanfear and Moiraine to free him instead. In the novels, Rand has been training with his Heronmark blade under land for months, trying to improve his skills, before finally managing to defeat the Shan-Chen Blade Master High Lord Turak to show just how far his skill has come. In the show finale, he instead just summons a one power and kills him in an Indiana Jones-esque moment, and has shown no real proficiency or training with his sword at all. The biggest deviation by far, however, is his battle with Ishamael. In the books, Rand fights Ishamael, the strongest of the Forsaken, one-on-one as their epic struggle is projected into the sky above Falme, before Rand finally strikes him down, proclaiming himself the Dragon Reborn. In the show, showrunner Rafe Judkins said he was tired of big battles in the sky, so instead Rand gets instantly shielded for the 7th time in the season as soon as he begins trying to fight Ishamael, and it is Egwene who somehow holds off the Forsaken instead of Rand, despite Egwene being nearly dead just literal seconds before. And it is Moiraine who manages to both break the shielding of a dozen Damane on Rand and then use an amazing amount of the one power to summon a flaming dragon around the tower Rand is on to proclaim him as a Dragon Reborn. Now, from the perspective of the Wheel of Time show fans that may have not read the novels, the issues with Rand are still just as massive. Mainly, why is anyone afraid of or in awe of this Dragon Reborn, when we have seen him manhandled and shielded by single Aes Sedai multiple times, after seeing in Season 1 that Logain took 8 Aes Sedai around the clock to even attempt to keep him shielded and still managed to break free. And by giving Egwene and Moiraine all the big moments in the finale, with Egwene somehow holding off Ishamael after being nearly killed minutes earlier, and Moraine's summoning of the massive fire dragon and the fire magic that destroyed the shielding on Rand, even calling back to Season 1, where Egwene somehow brings Nynaeve back from the dead after the magical armor that's being used to unleash the most devastating attack the show has ever seen gets resolved. Rand doesn't even appear to be as strong as a run-of-the-mill Aes Sedai. In fact, he's clearly at the bottom of the show's power scale. The whole show is about the return of the Dragon Reborn, an event which terrifies even the most powerful people in the show, and Rand has done nothing to even remotely represent this threat. The implied power levels for most show-only viewers have Rand as literally the weakest channeler in the series so far, so it's hard to invest in the idea of the Dragon Reborn being this world-changing event that everyone is so concerned with, when even a single passing Aes Sedai can just instantly take him out with a shield. The core concept of the show is that the Dragon Reborn is here and everything will change, but that seems laughable when by far the most dangerous channelers we have seen on the show are Gwen and Moraine and even Nynaeve. Season 3 of The Wheel of Time has already begun production, so how does the show address these issues? The answer is simply stop giving away all of Rand's big moments of power to other characters, and at this point, as long as you are inventing new moments anyway, you may need to actually invent a few new incidents of his displays of channeling to make up for the damage done. The power scale on this show must be adjusted. It is completely off kilter, with barely trained novices achieving amazing feats, while the Dragon Reborn just keeps getting shielded left and right. We need to see Rand break free from a large number of channelers shielding him the way we saw with Logain in Season 1, and we need Rand to actually fight one of the Forsaken one-on-one, something he has somehow done 0 times in 2 seasons. Season 3 needs to show the unprecedented amount of the one power that Rand can wield in action for once. It does not need to stick one-to-one for the novels, but the core center of the entire story of this series is based around the massive upheaval, threat, and hope of salvation the Dragon Reborn brings. And this coming season may be their last chance to right that ship by giving the Dragon Reborn actual displays of power worthy of those hopes and fears. So what did you think about the portrayal of Rand in The Wheel of Time so far? Let us know in the comments, and feel free to hit those like and subscribe buttons.